Hello, this is Bernice Atsan here, your tax resolution CPA. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. All right, come on in. I hope I'm live. I think I am. Okay, so today I will be talking about reasons why people get into tax problem, okay? And what you can do to avoid getting into this problem, okay? As we know, in the United States, tax problem is one of the major problems. Last year alone, 27 million taxpayers have tax problem, okay? And half of those 27 million hold more than $25,000 in tax liability. So today, I will be sharing with you things that you can do to avoid getting into tax problem and the root cause of why people have this problem. Okay, so let's dive right in. I see people are tuning in here. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Okay, so the very first leading cause of why people get into tax problem is non-compliance. Okay, non-compliance occurs when taxpayer neglects their responsibility to file their taxes. Okay, we all know that we have a deadline of April 15th to file our taxes. And, so many people with small businesses, it takes them a while to get together their expenses, to put together their supporting documentation. So, they file an extension. They'll file 6 months extension. You have till October 15. October 15 come around, they still procrastinate because they don't have all the expenses available. And years after years, it adds up, and it adds up. People get behind. They don't file their taxes. So non-compliance is one of the major reasons why people get into tax problem. All right. And this is not good for you. There are bad consequences that people, face for not filing their taxes. In my previous video, I mentioned about collection statute expiration dates, where your taxes would expire. If you have, taxes that has been assessed against you for 10 years, after 10 years, they can no longer come after you. But if you don't file your taxes, the CSED will never run. So you see why it's not a good idea for you not to file your taxes, because the CSED will never run, and that means you won't get your taxes expired when it's time to do so. So, not filing your taxes is not in your best interest. It is to your advantage to file your taxes. Another consequences of not filing your taxes is bankruptcy. As you already know, a lot of people go through hardship and they can file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. In Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you are allowed to get your income taxes discharged, okay? But if you don't file your taxes, you won't get dischargeable during bankruptcy because, there are certain rules behind this. Your taxes must be assessed for 2 years before you could get discharged during bankruptcy. So if you don't file your taxes, it won't get discharged. This is really bad. I work with so many bankruptcy lawyers, and it's quite unfortunate. So many people who are qualified to get their taxes discharged, but because they don't file their taxes, they're not qualified, So it is in your best interest to file your taxes. Non-compliance is one of the leading causes as to why people get into tax problem, okay? So if you want to get a right start and do the right thing, you can get in compliance, okay? You don't have to, file your taxes as far back as all these years. You are only required to file last 6 years of your taxes. According to Internal Revenue Code Section 4-19, you are required to file the last 6 years of your taxes. Because I know a lot of people, I have a lot of clients that would call me and say, Bernice, I really want to get started. I want to start on the right foot this year. I want to be in compliance, but I hold taxes all the way from 1998. And I'll be like, okay, if you hold taxes all the way from 1998, it really doesn't matter. Because you are not required to file all these years. You are only required to file the last 6 years. So, but what I do though for my clients, because, I told you, if you don't file your taxes, IRS could file your tax for you. It's called, they call it SFR. What is that called? Yeah, SFR. Yeah, SFR is substitute for return. IRS will file your taxes for you. If you have major income that was reported to them and you don't file, they could file your taxes for you. And when they do that, they won't put into consideration your deductions, your expenses, your credits. They will just file your taxes as if you're a single person. And this is not in your best interest, because a lot of times when they do that, the tax liability that they come up with would, usually be higher than what you would have filed if you filed your taxes. So what I do for my clients is we do an investigation analysis where you will authorize us, we'll pull up your record and analyze your case to see if IRS has filed your taxes for you. So in that case, we will refile your taxes, because usually a lot of times when I file people's taxes and they already have SFR, what we come up with is usually lower than what IRS has on their behalf. Thank you, Kelvin. Yeah, thank you. I see that light. If you are joining in, please comment. Let me know where you're watching from today. And feel free to comment if you have any other questions as well. I'll be more than, I'm available to answer any questions that you have, okay? So we would analyze, your record to see if IRS filed a substitute for return for you, and we would refile those years and do the last 6 years. So if you want to get on the right foot, I don't want you to feel like you have to go all the way back to, 1998, because literally I have clients that call me and tell me the last time I filed my taxes was 1998. So yeah, you're not required to go all the way back. You can only file the last 6 years and you'll be in compliance, and we negotiate a payment plan or, an OIC, whatever resolution options that you qualify for, we'll do that for you. Okay. So if you want to take a stab at this yourself, if you want to file your tax yourself, you want to write this down. You can call the IRS. The number to call is 1-800-429-1040. Again, 1-800-429-1040. You request for wages and income transcripts. Because, I have clients that will call me and say, I want to do this. I don't have my record. I don't even know where I put my W-2. I don't have a copy of my 1099s. So you can request for wages and income transcript. Wages and income transcript is a report of everything that was reported in your name, in your social, to the IRS. It will pretty much tells you all the income that was reported, and you can use that as a starting point to file your taxes. Okay? So, don't let your fear take over you. Conquer your fear today and do the right thing. Get in compliance. It costs you more. It's going to cost you more down the line by not being in compliance with the IRS. I've met so many clients, who live like a third-class citizen in their home country, just because of the fear of not buying a home because of tax. They don't want IRS to put a lien on their property, or they don't want to get a job or put money in their bank account because they are afraid of their bank account being levied. You don't need to live as a third-class citizen in your country. Do the right thing. Even if you don't have the money to pay them, just file. Get in compliance. I have so many people that I've been able to put on currently non-collectible status because they don't have the ability to pay the IRS. So even if you don't have the money, you don't have the ability to pay, file your taxes and you can apply for currently non-collectible status. I talked about this in my previous video. Currently non-collectible status, you're not going to pay anything, but at least you are still in compliance. You self-report yourself to the IRS, and you're still not going to pay them, but at least you have the protection. They can't come after you. They cannot levy your bank account. They cannot put a if you're on the currently non-collectible, it's as if you are paying them, but you don't really pay them because you don't have the money to pay them. They put you on currently non-collectible, but you are protected. Your paycheck will not be garnished. Your bank account will not be levied. You still have the protection as if you are paying. Okay, so very important. Do the right thing. Non-compliance will put you into trouble. It will cost you more money down the line. All right, so that's number one. I've talked about the non-compliance, and I've mentioned all the consequences, the bad consequences for not filing. All right, so the C said your tax will not expire if you don't file. You won't get your taxes discharged during bankruptcy if you don't file your taxes. So all these things are not good for you. Derek, I'm in Maryland too. Yeah, I'm in Maryland too. Okay. As you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. Okay, tell me what state. And if you have any questions, drop your comment below. So who can tell me another reason why people get into tax problem? I already mentioned the first one, which is non-compliance. Can anyone tell me why people get into tax problem? Who is on this live video today? Who can tell me why? No one? Okay. The other reason why people get into tax problem is audits. Okay? Audits. That's another major reason too. Sometimes when you file your taxes, IRS could propose a change to your tax return. They could, maybe you claim exemptions or deductions or dependents on your taxes, and they want you to verify that. So, as you know, a lot of people are out there using other people's kids on their tax return. So IRS could just want to verify. Maybe they want to verify if the kits that you claim on your taxes are truly yours. Guess what people do when they get their mail? They are so afraid to even open the IRS mail and see what it is. I don't know how to justify this, If this, it feels like a panic attack to them when they get that letter from the IRS. And I don't know why. Sometimes it could just be verify your kids, or you claiming this credit, your child tax credit. Give us supporting documentation to show that these kids are yours. Just give them what they need. Sometimes if you are divorced and you have the custody of your kids, your spouse could claim your kids before you do. So they just want to verify if it's legitimate. Just respond to them. Don't ignore an audit notice. If you don't know how to represent yourself, you can consult a tax resolution specialist for help. It is more painful. It's going to cost you more money down the line because IRS by law, they have to notify you of the change. If they're going to make any changes to your tax return, you will get a mail saying, we are proposing a change to your tax, provide A, B, C, D. Okay? So if you don't respond to them, they will go ahead and assess the taxes on your return, on your record. By law, they have to first of all notify you. So if you don't respond, then they will assess the taxes, add, penalties, inaccurate penalties. You get penalized for filing an inaccurate return. They will charge all that on there because you didn't respond to them. So respond, provide to them, anything that they want. It's not in IRS best interest to assess a tax against you that is it shouldn't have been. Just respond to them and give them any supporting documentation that they are looking for. Another reason, sorry, that's to, drink some water. Okay. Another thing is, when people file their taxes, they overstate expenses on their tax return. That's also another reason, especially for a lot of small businesses. A lot of small business owners, a way for them to reduce their tax liability is to lie on their taxes. That is also another reason why people will get audited. There are so many ways for you to reduce your tax liability without overstating your expenses. Overstating your expenses is not a good idea because if you get audited, it's going to cost you more money. Okay? If you proactively plan, there are several incredible tax planning strategies available to you. You can hire your kids in your business and you get to deduct the money that you pay to your kids as a deduction without paying taxes on it. And if the amount is below the standard deduction, Your kids don't have to report that on their taxes. That's an incredible way to reduce your tax liability. You can claim business use of your home. Home office deduction is also another way to reduce your taxes. Keep track of your mileage. Have your mileage log. If you're a real estate agent, I love real estate agents. They work so hard. They put their heart into what they do. If you are a real estate agent and you're watching this, give me a thumbs up, comment below. I love my people. But the thing is, they don't put the same amount of efforts that they put in their business on their tax return, which is bad. They ended up paying so much money. I have so many clients as real estate agents. What we do for them is we look for ways to reduce their taxes in a legal way. You don't have to overstate your taxes, overstate your expenses to reduce your tax liability. We do a tax planning for them where we'll look at your legal entity. So many real estate agents, they file as a Schedule C filer. Schedule C costs you is the most taxed legal entity. If you're a single member LLC and you're filing on the Schedule C, is the most taxed. I look ways that I use to reduce my real estate agents clients, their taxes, we switch them over to an S Corp and determine a reasonable compensation for them, put them on W-2. That way, they will eliminate self-employment taxes. Self-employment taxes is about 15.3% every year. By doing just little switch, I've been able to help so many people save at least $10,000 on their taxes. So overstating expenses or writing off fraudulent expenses on your taxes is not a good way to reduce your tax liability. There are several legal ways to do that, okay? So that's another reason why people get into tax problem. Audits. When they receive an audit, maybe IRS made the changes to their tax return, or they overstate their expenses, they file a falsified returns that they can't really, they can't really back up. I can't even begin to tell you how many clients I have represented during an IRS audit. Over time, we have represented so many clients in an IRS audit. And, I tell you, my clients can attest to this. I'm a tough cookie when it comes to representing my clients. But if you overstate expenses on your taxes that you can't justify, it's kind of hard for me to justify that. I cannot represent you if you are making up expenses on your taxes that you don't have supporting documentation for. I won't be able to represent you when you do that. So it is very important that you keep your supporting documentation. If you hire anyone to do your taxes for you, it is your responsibility to sit them down, have them walk you through line by line things that they put on your tax return. I cannot begin to tell you right now how many people that will come to me and say, Bernice, I don't even know how I get into this problem. Okay, I have no idea, because my tax preparer, I will just go to him, give him all my tax documents, and he just puts stuff on my taxes. No, that is a very lousy excuse. You, as the taxpayer, you are responsible for your tax return, not the tax preparer. So if you pay anyone to do your taxes, it is your responsibility to ask them, walk me through line by line, expenses, deductions, credits that you're claiming on my taxes. Because if IRS come for you, they're coming for you, not the tax preparer. Okay? So ask the right question, do the right thing. Do tax planning. You don't need to overstate your expenses. You don't need to make up fraudulent expenses just for the sole purpose of reducing your tax liability. All these things are very bad for you and could get you in trouble. Okay? So I have mentioned the reasons why people get into tax problem, which is the first one is non-compliance. Okay? And even if you don't have the money, just file your taxes. File. Let the CSET start to run. The CSET will run for 10 years and your taxes will drop off. Okay? So that's the number one, non-compliance. The second one is audits. Audits, got a lot of people in trouble. Even people with W-2s. You'd be so amazing how many clients that I have helped, who, they will come to my office with their audit letters. These people have W-2 wages income. And they will look for ways to reduce their taxes by, making up Schedule C. You make up a Schedule C a business that never existed. You put it on a Schedule C and claim a huge loss. Like you will have $40,000 in W-2 wages and you're claiming about $30,000 in Schedule C business loss, a business that you don't even have, as a way to reduce your taxes. I mean, come on. IRS has internal control in their system. They have internal control that will flag your return. If you claim an expenses that is more than 50% of your adjusted gross income, you will get flagged. I mean, these are real. I'm not making this up. I'm serious. There's internal control in this IRS system that will flag your return if you claim expenses that is more than 50% of your adjusted gross income. So if you have a W-2, let them take out the withholdings. You don't need to make up expenses or businesses that you don't have for the sole purpose of reducing your tax liability. This could get you in more trouble if you get audited. Okay, so that's the second reason why people get into audits. And I'm going to talk about the third one now, and that will be the last one because I have a meeting. I have a long day today. So can anyone guess and tell me another reason why people could get into trouble, have IRS problem? Let's see if I have any comments here. I don't even know how this live video works. I tell you, I'm so new to this. If you are watching this from another state, please comment. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have any comments, comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Okay, no one can tell me why people get it. Oh, thank you, Derek. W-2 exemptions. That's another one. Okay, I'm going to actually, that is on my notes. I was going to talk about that. So number 3, the reason why people get into tax problem is as a W-2. Okay. If you switch jobs, maybe you just got a new job, the first thing your HR will give you is a W-4. The W-4 form is for you to complete to indicate if you are a single person or if you are married, okay? So if you're a single person, claim 1. You have no business claiming 99 on your W-4. This is another reason, the top reason why. Thank you so much, Derek. This is a top reason why people get into trouble. If you claim 99 and you're a single person, you don't even have any kids, you don't have any spouse, why would you claim 99? By claiming 99, you are telling your HR not to withhold any taxes from your paycheck. And years after years, your taxes will start adding up, and you get in trouble. You have all this 6-figure in taxes that you don't even know what to do with it. So, when you get that W-4, pay attention to the questions. If you're a single person, claim 1. If you are married with kids, claim 4. If you have 2 kids, you're married, claim 4. Fill it out so that they can claim the proper taxes and you don't have to worry about paying IRS at the end of the year. Okay. Hey, Funke, I see you, baby. Thank you so much for tuning in. Atlanta in the house. Yes. Okay. All right. So another one is lack of paying estimated taxes. And this one has to do with, a lot of small businesses. If you're on a Schedule C, you have small businesses, you need to pay quarterly estimated taxes. It is very, very important. In my practice, what we do, we design an Excel spreadsheet. This is mainly for real estate clients. I have so many real estate clients, real estate agents. We all know your income is not consistent. 1 month, you can get a huge commission check. Come the next month, you don't have anything coming to the door. Well, the months that you have a huge check, you need to calculate what your estimated taxes is, set it aside, and pay them. So at the end of the year, you don't have to worry about so much money that you have to pay back to the IRS. Okay, so lack of paying taxes for self-employed individuals could also put you in trouble. Claiming so much exemptions on your W-4 could put you in trouble. If you're a real estate agent and you are interested in getting a copy of the spreadsheets that I designed to calculate your tax liability, to calculate your estimated taxes, comment below and one of my employees will get that across to you. Okay. So that's all the reasons why people get into trouble and how you can avoid it. So do the right thing. Don't live like a third-class citizen in your home country. Buy a house, put money in your bank account. You don't have to worry about IRS levying your bank account or putting a lien on your taxes when you do the right thing. So get into compliance, file your taxes on time. When you file your taxes, make sure the expenses that you are claiming, you have supporting documentation to back it up in case of an audit, okay? And, file your taxes. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm tuning out for the day, but you can drop me a message. I will, keep looking at my messages. If you have any comments, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Have a wonderful day today. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.